If you're looking into lithium batteries for your trolling motor and you're not exactly sure what to get, but you know you want something different than what you've seen so far, I think I found a solution that's going to work really well for me, and I'd like to share that with you here in this video. So if you've been following the videos recently, you'll know that I've been looking to get rid of the lead acid batteries for my trolling motor and get into the lithium market. Having made that decision, the next toughest part was trying to decide which brand, whether I wanted 3 12-volt batteries or one 36-volt battery for my 36-volt Terrova trolling motor, and how many amp hours to go with to make sure that I can run clean all day long. And of course, being a small business owner with a fishing guide service and a YouTuber, I was looking to make a smart financial decision and hope to save some money along the way. Fortunately, it seems like there's enough competition in the lithium battery market now to make pricing a little more competitive. Some of the early players, the Dakota Lithiums and the Ionics and companies like that, certainly work, but getting a 36-volt setup plus a lithium charger would typically cost around $3,000. And those don't even include all of the newest features that some of the other brands do, such as Bluetooth battery monitoring, temperature sensors, and self-heating mechanisms so that you can charge your batteries below freezing, because you're not allowed to do that. Well, you're allowed to do it, but it's not good for a lithium battery. You could damage the battery and break it and be in big trouble. Of course, there is another way to lower the cost of entry into getting these batteries, and that's by just going with fewer amp hours. So lithium is more efficient than lead acid. So in theory, if you had a 100 amp hour lead acid battery, you might be able to get by with a 60 amp hour lithium battery, for example. The Amped Outdoors brand of batteries clearly realized this, and they came out with a 60 amp hour 36 volt battery at a price point of $1,200, and that happened to come with a charger, so not a bad cost-effective situation. The single battery setup is pretty slick, to be honest, instead of having 3 different ones in there, and the fact that you can get them at certain retail stores, Shields included, makes that fairly convenient too, so you don't have to deal with an online retailer only. I was fortunate enough to be able to test one of those batteries for a little while, and you can find the results of that test in this video, and I think it would do well for certain applications, but based on my testing, I was really concerned that if I was in situations fishing in heavy wind, especially spot locking, it didn't seem like it would have enough duration to last for a full, say, 7 or 8 hour day, or if I wanted to go longer than that, and I'd probably end up having to run my kicker a lot to compensate for that, and that's something I didn't want to do. If I'm going to get into lithium batteries, I would rather not have to worry about running the kicker all the time. I just want the trolling motor to handle the job if possible. So for that reason, I decided to stick with 100 amp hour battery options and throw the 60 out of the window and not consider that anymore. Plus, even though $1,200 to get into lithium batteries with a charger isn't too bad, if you look at it per amp hour with some of the other options that are out there right now, it's actually not that cheap. It's fairly expensive. There's a lot of options that you can get 12-volt, 100 amp hour batteries for $300, $400, $500 a piece. So for relatively the same price, you can get 100 amp hour options and not have to go with the 60. So cheap entry point, but you're not really getting as much bang for the buck in terms of amp hours. As I mentioned before in other videos, there are a ton of different competitively priced lithium battery options out there. But I eventually narrowed it down to 2, one of which was based on kind of researching the best combination of all the features, the price, and the reputation of the company. And the other one actually came through an offer by email after posting my last lithium battery video. The former is a $400 105 amp hour battery from Epic, which looks like it's pronounced Epoch, but I think they pronounce it Epic. And the latter was a similar product you can buy from a Chinese-based company, either on Amazon or off the company's own website. Honestly, I was pretty torn over the decision for a couple of weeks because to me, Epic seems to possibly be one of the best choices of batteries out there. The combination of features that I mentioned before, a very functional design, and obviously a competitive price. On the other hand, this other company was offering me basically free lithium batteries. I had to pay 50% of the price of the third battery, get 2 for free, and all I had to do was make a few videos reviewing the batteries and then basically recommend them to the viewers of this channel. The only real downsides to these batteries was one hard thing was that they don't have the Bluetooth app to monitor the batteries like a lot of others do, including Epic. And also I couldn't really see a lot of evidence that they had been used super frequently for trolling motors besides like the reviews that were on Amazon. And sometimes it's hard to know whether or not the reviews on Amazon are necessarily real. I don't want to be super skeptical and say that they're all fake or false, but I was looking for something that was clearly designed for fishermen, for trolling motors. And if you look at Epic's website, that's obviously their target market. So I would imagine at a minimum, they've at least tested to make sure that these things can withstand, you know, a beating when you're out on the water, pounding through heavy waves, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know enough about the Lithium designs and the casing and the boxes to know if they can all withstand this, but it was an extra level of comfort thinking about that when I considered the Epic product. So again, the decision was basically to take almost free lithium batteries, roll the dice a little bit, save a bunch of money, or pay $1,200 for 3 12-volt batteries from Epic. And ultimately, I decided to spend the money and go with the Epic batteries. I basically thought about, you know, if I forget about the price of these things, what batteries do I think I really want? And that was clearly Epic to me. And then on top of that, they're not $3,000 batteries like some of the other situations. So it is a very competitive price, and it's really what I was looking for and had confidence in. And I had a number of conversations with the Epic people on the phone, talking to them, asking a bunch of questions about how the batteries used, how the batteries are tested, and I just got a really good comfort level from every conversation that I had. And one of the other nuances about these Epic batteries was that the specific ones that I wanted, which were 105 amp hour, smaller 24 series size, like 23 pounds. They had the heater, they had the Bluetooth app, they had the temperature sensors, everything. But they were currently out of stock, and I was kind of in a time crunch for getting my batteries in my boat to make sure that I could take all my guiding clients out as soon as possible. And in talking with them on the phone, I come to find out that the shipment that they were getting in 600 of these batteries. 520 of them were already pre-ordered, and they expected the other 80 to be gone in like 4 or 5 days when I called them on the phone the day after they went live again on the website. So that gave me an extra layer of confidence that clearly this is a product that is in high demand, that people have confidence in. That was kind of the trigger point for me to say, I think this is the thing that I want, and I'm just gonna spend the money and do it. Now, was it hard to turn down the other situation of basically getting free batteries? Absolutely, yes it was. I was able to get into the affiliate program for Epic, so if anybody uses the link that's in the description of this video to buy Epic batteries for their setup, I do make a small commission for that, something that does help my channel out a little bit, but it's extremely small in comparison to the idea of getting completely free batteries. I wasn't able to negotiate a sponsorship situation with Epic. Believe me, I tried. And maybe that'll happen in the future, I don't know. But it certainly isn't the case right now. And honestly, I don't think they need, you know, other YouTubers and quote influencers selling their batteries, because it seems like they're flying off the shelves as it is. So I just think they have a really good thing going, and that was the product that I wanted in my boat. End of story. I wanted something I felt confident in for running a guide service. You know, if I was just a YouTuber, would I have taken a chance on the other batteries? Maybe, but the other side of the coin is, you know, I have gotten to the point now where I have over 3,000 subscribers on this channel, which again, thank you so much for that. It's still a little surreal and weird to me. I think that 3,000 people care to hear what I have to say and watch these videos. And I've never really liked the term influencer that people use. Like, I'm not trying to influence people here on this channel. I'm just a guy that gets to do this stuff a lot and learn a lot of knowledge along the way, and I like to share my experience, and if that's helpful for you, great. If it's not, whatever, no skin off my back. And thankfully I was able to get these batteries shipped in time and get them installed in the boat so that I could use them to take out clients before my other lead acid batteries were totally kaput. And hopefully that's one less thing I have to worry about for the next potentially 11 years, given the warranty on this product. So there's that. Of course, then I also had to get a charger because my existing charger didn't do lithium batteries. So I did a lot of research. I was thinking about going with a precision charger from Minn Kota. Some of the stuff that I read kind of pushed me towards the No-Code Genius charger. So this one happens to be a 3-bank, 10 amp hour per bank charger. So if your batteries are completely dead at 100 amp hours, it would take 10 hours to charge them fully. It seems to be extremely well tested in terms of being waterproof and, you know, handling a bunch of rough waves, getting banged around a lot. It seemed to be very durable, reliable, and a lot of people had a lot of good things to say about it. So I installed that charger to work with these Epic batteries and charge them every day, which probably don't have to charge them every day, because most of the days that I've used it so far, like if it's benign conditions, I get done with the day and I still have like 89%, 88, 87, 85% of battery left. So I've been charging like every 3 days unless it's a really windy day. The worst day I've seen so far, we had a brutally windy day, fished for like 5 hours, and I still had over 70% of my battery left. I think it was closer to 80. So I don't think I ever have to worry about running out of battery with these, unless you were gonna try to troll crankbaits at 8 speed, 9 speed, 10 speed on the remote, but you're not supposed to do that with lithium batteries anyway, and I have no intentions of doing that, so it's gonna be pretty awesome. Now, I have heard some things in terms of, you know, ideally you would have one 36-volt battery, mostly for like charging sake. Like sometimes if you have 3 separate batteries, one of them might start to charge at a different rate and they might not have the same level of capacity at some point, and having that, I don't know, there's something to that that maybe that creates problems over time. But also the other side of the coin, if that one lithium battery happens to go bad on you, you have to figure out something else until you can get it fixed or get a new one. Whereas if you have the 3 set up, if one of them happens to go bad, which I can monitor on the app, then I can replace it with, you know, you can actually throw a lead acid battery in there, which I kept my old lead acid batteries in the shop, so that would get me by until the other one got fixed or I got a new one shipped. So I didn't feel too bad about that situation. It's still pretty slick. They're still super light and a lot easier to install and work with, which is awesome. So essentially then, instead of having just the one battery, you have to link the 3 batteries in what they call a series, which basically turns it into one giant 36-volt battery. And in order to do that, you hook the positive side of the trolling motor power to the positive side of one end of the batteries in the series, and then you go to the other end of the series and hook the negative side to the negative over there. And then you need these jumpers that go from positive to negative between the 3 batteries to join them together. And then of course, after that, you link the positives and negatives of your charger on the positive and negative posts of each battery. And then you got that whole thing set up and it's ready to rock and roll. And like I said, there is a Bluetooth app for Epic. There was one for Amped Outdoors as well, which I showed in that other video. The Epic, they actually have 2 apps. And my understanding is that at some point they're gonna consolidate these into one app. There's like the Epic Pro and then there's the Epic L-Ion. It was the Epic L-Ion that apparently works for my battery. I don't know if that's the one you need for all the batteries that they have to offer, but that's the app that works with my batteries. It probably will be the one that would work with yours if you get them. Basically, you download the app if you got an iPhone from the App Store, Google. I'm not sure how Android stuff works, but I know there's an app version for both. And once you got the app there, then you go into the Bluetooth setting and then you can search and it'll scan and look for your batteries. And once it finds them, you can look at each battery individually to see how much charge it has, if it's charging, time remaining till charging, as you're running it, time left till discharge. You can see the amps being drawn in real time if you turn on the trolling motor, spin the prop a little bit. If you're doing it in the shop, it's not gonna have the amp hour draw it would in the water when it's under load, but you can at least see how that's running. And then typically, I think when it shows up the batteries, it lists them what it says supposedly by serial number, but if you look at the actual serial number on the battery, it doesn't match. So all the numbers were the same for mine, which I didn't really understand how that worked, and then maybe that's something I could fix, but you can rename the batteries. So I basically renamed them Epic 1, Epic 2, Epic 3, so I can see the 3 different batteries and know the distinction, but I still don't know how to specifically identify each one yet. That's one sort of frustration point that I've had with that app so far, but hopefully I can figure out how to identify. So if there's a problem with one specific battery, I'll know exactly which one it is. Anyway, at least that gives you an idea of how you can download the app, how you can hook it up to your batteries, and how you can see what you want to see through the app. So that's the deal. I'm now an owner of Epic lithium batteries for my trolling motor. I look forward to using those for the next, they say 10 plus years these things can last. We'll see how that goes. That's the only thing I don't know for sure, is some of these batteries haven't been around for 10 years, so nobody knows that for a fact, but there is an 11-year warranty, so you got that to think about. And again, if you want to buy some of these batteries, if you're looking for batteries that you think have been field tested and thought through by other influencers such as myself, this is what I went with. If you do want to buy them, you can use the link in the description of this video. It does give me a little bit of commission to help my channel back, so I would appreciate that. But the most important thing to me was just the fact that I have something I can rely on for my guiding business, for my YouTube channel, to keep my boat running, keep my trolling motor going, And I look forward to a bunch of great days on the water using these batteries. So until next time, later fisher people.